To you're live, Steve.
Good morning, everyone. This is Steve Field from the Prime Safety Department. I'm in the basement of the Z building. Appreciate you tuning in today. It's March 9th. We've committed to getting one of these productions together each week and to make them informative for you. I think we've got a pretty good group of speakers today. I've got just a few things to talk about. And then Steve Tassin, what he's going to talk about is the upgrade process. As we talked about last week, because of truck availability, freight availability, we were able to reduce the mileage requirement to upgrade, the minimum mileage requirement from 50,000 back to our original 30,000. And that's presented a few challenges for us, nothing that we're not up for. We can handle it. And Steve's going to go through some of the details there and certainly take any questions that you have about what our process is as we try to orderly bring people in and upgrade them into their own truck. We know that's very important to you. That's one of the big reasons you're here. So we've got some good information on that. Second thing we're going to do, we're trying something a little different this week. We're actually in two locations. We're in the basement here in Springfield, but Andrea Mueller is down at Savannah Kleen with Brett Vonwiller, and they're going to talk about what they do down there in the tanker division. I think that will be very interesting for a lot of us that haven't actually been down there and find out what's going on at Savannah Kleen. And then we'll come back up here, see if there's any other questions. We'll have Robert, hopefully we'll have Steve, and they'll close it out with some comments for you on just general topics on what's going on right now. But we're very positive. I think the news as you watch it, just for the first time in a while, sense that maybe we're going to be turning that curve on COVID here pretty soon as more people get vaccinated. We're seeing less cases, so hang in there. I know this last year has been an incredible challenge for you. While we are somewhat protected here in the building, we have a lot of associates working at home. You didn't have that opportunity, and that's one reason we're just so proud of what you've done for the past year. And that does remind me, during the driver advisory board last week, one of the topics was, when are the in-house people going to come back on site? I think as we look at ourselves, if we're truly honest with ourselves, maybe we did lose half a step by having workers at home. We needed to do that. There's no doubt about that. But we also know to fully support you and give you the service that you deserve, we need to get as many folks back in the office as we can. And we need to do it safely. And it may not be exactly as it was last February and March before we changed, but we realize that frankly, you would prefer the associates on site, face to face with you, and that's what you deserve, and that's what we're moving towards. So that's another initiative that we have going. Just one other thing I want to mention real quickly. We got a call yesterday. We get these scam calls all the time, or probably more accurately, you get scam calls. And this one actually, the driver called in and said that Steve, I presume myself, had called from the safety department and we had lost some data and I needed information from him, social security number, date of birth, that sort of information. Remember, we'll never call you for that information. Just like your bank won't call you, Prime won't call you. We've got the information. We're not going to lose it. If you ever have a question on a call like that, you can always say, Steve, if that's your real name, give me just a second. Let me call you back at Prime and make sure. And that way you could prevent giving out some information that you don't want to. So again, be very cautious of phone calls, emails, texts that you don't recognize. There's just an incredible amount of spam out there and people that are trying to do harm to you. So I think we caught that one pretty quickly. So hopefully there won't be any more cases like that. Last thing I'm going to mention before Steve comes up, we did hear from the driver advisory board that they thought it'd be a better idea to put this Facebook Live at our normal safety meeting time, which is 8 a.m. on Friday. So we're going to do that. Starting next week, we'll be at 8 a.m. Friday. We'll try to keep it as informative as we can. We believe that'll be our permanent time slot until we are able to return to live meetings. And I talked about it last week. That is our commitment. This is not the solution. This is just something to get us through until we can safely have 40, 50, 60, 70 people in the cafeteria in the morning and have that meeting live with you. We want to get back to that as much as you want to get back to it. And now with our new facility in Salt Lake City, they'll be able to host it. We can do some stuff from Pittston. So once we get back to that, I'm expecting some good meetings there. So I probably talked enough. Again, thanks for tuning in today. This really has become one of our big avenues for communicating with you. And we want to hear what your thoughts are. If you have questions, be sure to send them in. But I'm going to ask Steve Tassin to come up. Steve plays a big role in our company. He's been with us 30 plus years, dispatched for years, but right now he has the difficult challenge of matching up our TNTs with trainers and then kind of coordinating drivers that are ready to upgrade. So Steve, if you'll come on up and take it from here, and we'll see what questions the folks have, but you start out.
Good morning, Steve. Thank you. My name is Steve Tassin. I've been with Prime over 30 years, as Steve said. And my job is to help coordinate our trainees and get them matched up with the trainer. The biggest question that we've had and we're dealing with right now is many of you may remember a year ago, we increased the mileage that it took for someone to get upgraded. We went from 30,000 up to 50. Well, that was with COVID. We had a serious truck shortage last year. Our suppliers could not get us trucks, and so it took us a while to work through that. And so we, last week, we decided to change that requirement from 50,000 back to 30. So what does this mean for you? Well, at 30,000, if you came through our PSD program, at 30,000 miles, if you have no more than 2 critical events, no accidents, you have your TWIC card, no moving violations, you are able to upgrade at 30,000 miles. Now, that's the good news. The other good news with a bit of a challenge is getting you into a truck. There is a little bit of a lag, if you will, to getting folks into trucks. And so as a result, everybody wanted to upgrade last week and get into a truck. Well, we can't get everybody in all at once. And what this means is that weekly, we look at the list. We look at how many are on the list. First of all, are they qualified? Are they ready to upgrade? And number 2, how many trucks do we have? And so we're looking at week to week, how many can we bring in? So this means for some that there may be a bit of a lag to get them in. It may be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We don't know. And so that's why we are looking at this from week to week to bring them in. In the meantime, we want you to be able to go out there and work, run, make money. And right now, our earnings are off the charts. We're seeing guys making more money on average than ever before. Lots of demand out there, lots of demand for our trucks, for our trailers, and for you. So we're trying to go through this in an orderly manner. And we would ask that you coordinate with your fleet manager, and then we will try to bring you in. We do not want to bring you in here and then have you sit for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. That's not the goal here. We need to be productive. We need to service our customers. We need to be available to haul freight. So with that being said, Steve, I don't know if we have any questions or where you want to go from here.
We've got a couple, Steve,
Okay.
And I'll make sure you answer this one. But the 30,000 miles, that does not include PSD, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. That is for folks that came through our school, and as a TNT, they did 30,000 miles. Now, if you came here as a C seat, you got your CDL at another school somewhere, you came here as a C seat, then that requirement is 40,000 miles. If you come here as a B1, the requirement is only 15,000 miles. Hope that helps answer that.
For a frame of reference, can you give us an idea how many drivers were we able to upgrade last week, kind of the first week with the change?
Last week, we approved right around 65. And this week, we're not sure yet. That announcement will be made tomorrow.
Okay, good. Have you got some questions coming in? Okay. If you'll hang around, Steve,
Sure.
I think we'll pick up some more questions.
You bet.
So I'll slide
All
back
right.
in there. So if you have questions, we're going to monitor that. Steve will hang around and he'll be able to answer those. But we're going to keep moving here. And I hope you took to heart what Steve said there. We want to upgrade in an orderly process. It's not going to do us any good to have 200 people sitting here. We want to keep you out there working and then get you upgraded just as smooth as we can. So thank you for that information, Steve. As promised, we're going to try something different today. So I'm basically going to turn the Facebook Live over to Andrea and to Brett. I can see Brett and Savannah, so I'll say good morning, Brett.
Good morning. I appreciate you letting us join you today from Savannah. I am Brett Vonwiller. I work up in our tanker operations. Part of my responsibility is to work with the tank wash teams across the country. And today lot of in-house associates don't realize that Savannah Kleen is a prime terminal. This terminal has been around a long time, and just in the last couple of years, we've started doing some reefer washouts, and we're seeing a lot of drivers come through here on a regular basis. But I'm not going to talk a whole lot today. What I'd like to do is turn it over to Niki, let her introduce her team down here, and field any questions, tell you a little bit about the place. Niki.
Hi, as he said, I'm Niki Bowers here at Savannah Kleen. We've been open since 2006, and this is our team, or part of our team here. We don't have everybody, but we have Kristin, Katie, and Anna. We also have Xavier and Wade, who are not here with us today, but actually Xavier might show up for the video here in a little bit. He's shuttling trailers to Fuji, but like Brett said, we are a food grade tank wash for all the tanker drivers coming down here that are loading at Fuji. The facility here is a drop and hook facility. So 90% of the time you're going to just be dropping your dirty trailers at Savannah Kleen and heading on over to Fuji to pick up your loaded trailer. We have Wade and Xavier both are shuttling clean trailers over to Fuji. So that's where you'll just go over there and pick up your loaded trailer. We also do reefer washouts. Our reefer business has picked up quite a bit recently, but we could handle a lot more reefer washouts. So most of the drivers I talk to that are in the reefer don't even know we're here, and they have no idea that we're a prime facility. So whenever I catch one that says that to me, I tell them, try to encourage them to spread the word and make sure that they're coming here, because they complain about having to drive 20 miles south when usually they're loading right around the corner from us. So again, get the word out to the reefer drivers that we can get you guys covered, and quickly. We get you out of here in less than 5 minutes usually. One other thing I was going to talk about for the tanker drivers, you guys have the code. When you get here, just use the code on the gate and come in and drop your dirties. For the reefer drivers, if you try to use the code and get in here, you're probably going to get stuck. So just want to make sure you guys aren't doing that, because we're not open on the weekends, and we've had a few drivers use the gate code, come in, and then they can't get out because it's such a tight space. Along with it being a tight space, we don't have a whole lot of driver amenities here, unfortunately. So we don't have showers and things like that. But, whenever the facility opens back up after COVID, we welcome you to come in and use the restroom and get some coffee. Another thing that we get asked a lot is about permits, IFTA stickers, anything like that, trip sheets. I don't have trip packets here, but if you have a blank trip sheet, I can make copies for you, get those to you. It's the same thing pretty much.
We do have a question. Where are we at? What city and state?
Okay, we're actually not in Savannah. We're in Fort Whitworth, Georgia, and it's right off of exit 109. We're literally right across the street from the pilot. It's a very convenient location.
Great. Kristin? Got anything?
No, yeah, we recently, if you've been here before, we're across the street from the pilot, which is a truck stop, but you have to pay to park, and they have recently opened up an end mark, which is within walking distance from our location. And they have a really decent sized parking lot that's free and open to all truck drivers. A lot of tanker drivers park at our facility overnight so that they don't have to pay at the pilot. We now have a restaurant across the street from us, also within safe walking distance, called Fuzzy's, and it's got like a Tex-Mex kind of vibe to it. It's a healthy option for drivers who want to spend the night here overnight. So I wanted to let drivers know that they have another food option here, and if they spend the night here, it's a safe location.
So you kind of already answered it. Can we park there overnight?
So tanker drivers do park here and can park here overnight. It's not that reefers can't, but if you've been here before, you know how small our parking lot is. So when we have the space, we just ask that your dispatcher calls ahead of time so we can give the, yes, you can park here, we have space, you won't be tight. But if you're bobtailing, yes, we can always fit trucks in here. It's just the larger reefer units are harder to move around our parking lot.
Bob said, is Savannah Kleen owned by Prime?
Yes.
Yes.
Since 2006, we've been here. We all are Prime associates. We all work at Prime. And if you have any questions or anything to do with getting in touch with your dispatcher, getting your permits, getting, like I said, if the stickers, anything like that, we will do our best to provide those things for you anytime.
So if they're coming in for a reefer washout, what's the process look like?
So for a reefer washout, you're just going to pull around and stop at the back, the bay on the right-hand side. You'll stop at the rear of the bay, and we will then be able to get your truck number, and we'll bring out your receipt to you. You don't have to get out of your truck, especially now during COVID. As soon as COVID's over, you guys are welcome to get out, come inside, and get you some water or coffee or whatever you want. But right now, we're just able to use the camera to get your truck number, and we get your truck and trailer number and bring you your receipt out to your truck while you pull in the bay. One of us jumps on the washout, and you're usually out of here in 5 minutes. So it's a pretty easy process, and most drivers are really happy with it when they leave, and they had no idea how quick and easy it would be because we are a prime terminal.
Do you do anything for the flatbed division?
No, we do not. I mean, we've had, not that we don't have love and appreciation for the flatbed division, but they're even bigger. It's harder for them to get on our lot. We have had a couple over, I've been here for 10 years now. I want to say 2 have parked here overnight, which was, again, as long as we have room, that's completely fine. But we don't wash trucks, and so we don't generally.
They were loaded flatbeds that needed a secure lot to stay in. So at that moment, we were able to make some space for them. That way they could be locked up. And we can do that in an emergency situation. It's just very tight.
What are your hours?
Hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And we are not here on the weekends. So again, I know sometimes on the app it might say we're open or whatever, but try not to come because you're gonna get stuck at the gate, or if you pull in or something like that.
I also encourage drivers to give us a call, and if we are here after hours and if we are here on the weekends, we will do the washout. But generally, we're not here after hours. So,
Richard asked, can you wash trucks too?
No, unfortunately, we don't have the capability to wash trucks because it's a city ordinance. We're just not allowed to do it. I did want to touch on one other thing I forgot. I don't know if I mentioned, but we do have a mechanic here. So especially for the tanker drivers and anything wrong with the tank, if you guys call ahead of time and at least let one of us know. I know a lot of you are dropping trailers at night when we're not here, but if you will call one of us, Kristin or I, and leave us a message or put a note on the trailer, that way we can get the trailer fixed before it goes back out. We do have, and again, he can help you with some of the issues with your truck, small things, but make sure you check in with us if you have any problems.
And when COVID is over, our mechanic is going to get better training, hopefully at Decatur Clean, where they will be able to do bigger jobs on trailers.
Zach said, any chance in expanding the lot there soon?
Hey, is Robert Lowe watching?
We've actually tried to expand the lot. We're kind of booked in on both sides. We got Freightliner dealership on one side and the in-market on the other side. They own the lot that's vacant right next to us, and we have reached out to them on a couple of occasions trying to buy that property, and unfortunately they don't want to let it go. So right now we're stuck with this small spot.
Robert Moses said, tanker trailer parts available, pump, rebuild kits, seals, etc.
Yes.
So we try to, a lot of drivers want the kits here. So because tank washers change the pump seals when we know that the pump is bad, we do change those seals. Drivers come in looking for the kits, I think, that are given out at other prime locations. When we have them, we definitely give them out, but we also run out of things. You know how small we are, so it is hard to keep a large quantity of anything around here.
But yeah, if they need them, just let us know.
I think that's it on the questions.
Thank you, girls, very much.
Yeah.
Great job. I just wanted to tell you guys I appreciate what you're doing out there. Please stay safe. And Steve, I'm going to throw it back to you in Springfield.
You're good, Steve.
Okay. Thank you, Brett and Andrea and ladies down there. The number of questions that always gives us a clue on if we're hitting a good topic. And I think this was a good topic to talk about today. A lot of people just aren't that familiar with Savannah Kleen. We have had some more questions come up, so I'm going to ask Steve Tassin to come back up and give us a little bit more detail about, okay, I'm out on a truck and I've reached my miles. What are the exact steps that I'll go through before I come in to upgrade? And when I get in here? Is my truck here or am I going to sit? So Steve, come on up and cover that.
Okay, good question. Process is your fleet manager qualifies to your miles, your record, your driving record, safety record, and then that information gets passed on to me. We put you through a process to get upgraded. Once you get approved, you're then put on a waiting list. I go through that list, I vet it just to make sure everybody's qualified, make sure we're not putting somebody in there that's had a bad safety record or has not been approved. And so that's the process. Once you get on that waiting list, then each Wednesday morning, we determine how many we're going to be bringing in for the following week. And so that number is made by somebody else. There's a committee that makes that determination, and it all depends on how many trucks we have available. And so we will get to everybody. So just be patient. We'll get everybody seated in a truck. Let me just add one last thing, if I may. I want to say to everybody out there who's a trainer, thank you. You guys are doing a great job. You care about these trainees. You're doing a great job teaching them how to be safe, how to do it the prime way. We also have a great need for more trainers, and we have a bigger need for folks that will take a female. We have a little more than 20 females right now waiting, and guys, they're ready to go. They are anxious and want to start their career. They want to learn how to do this right and do it safe. So if there's any other questions, I'll be glad to take those.
Looks like, Steve, we do have a question about once someone is on the waiting list, they're still running with their trainer, correct? Still making money.
Correct. We want them to stay out there and work and run. And we need you. Our customers need you. So we don't want them just going home or staying here, because if you come here and you're not approved, you could be here for a while.
No, that's a good point. You and I had talked about that. Just being approved, then they really need to get the word from their fleet manager. Okay, we are routing you to the yard. We have a truck. We have a process. We're going to keep your time down to a minimum. Right.
We don't want you sitting around anywhere. And so we want to make sure that we do this in an orderly fashion, work with your fleet manager. We don't want you getting frustrated. We want you to be out there making money and being profitable and helping our customers.
And again, if I understood that last question right, once they're approved and we bring them in, there is a truck for them.
That is correct. Once you're approved, we have a truck for you.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I think that's an amazing number last week to upgrade 60 some people in 1 week. That's a lot of work by a lot of people and by our drivers to get them in. And I think that's going to be consistent for the next several weeks at least.
And just so you understand, there's more than just leasing that's involved here. There's the shops. They've got to work them. They've got to make sure there's everything's working order. We don't want to give you a truck. We're also coordinating with Salt Lake City and with Pittston. And so there's a lot of people involved in this process, a lot of moving parts. So be patient, work with them, work with your fleet manager, work with us. We'll get you into a truck. I promise you.
We have another question about the $300 while waiting for upgrade, the extra $300. Can you hit on that a little bit?
The extra, I'm not sure I understand.
They're asking if there's any pay while they wait for upgrade.
No, we want you to be out there working and running. We do not pay to just sit here and wait.
That's it on the questions. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. You know, we're kind of, we've got three divisions here, our reefer division, our flatbed division, our tanker division, and we don't have a per se reefer presentation this week, but I did ask Brian Brown to come, and sometimes we overlook flatbed, and I looked at the numbers last week. It looked like they had a good week, and just kind of wanted Brian to talk about what's going on at flatbed.
Thank you, Steve. Hey, flatbedders. As Steve mentioned, we've been having a great few weeks here. Freight has been really strong. We're getting through some of the toughest parts of the weather and heading toward the better part of spring. So that's great news, especially for flatbed. You guys out there in the elements, tarping and securing and working in some really tough conditions. And we just can't say enough how much we appreciate you guys. And, we're very concerned about your safety out there. Still pushing for a lot of fall protection from our customers. But just want to remind everybody, when you're out there and you're at a shipper's property or at a receiver's property, be sure that you're wearing your PPE at all times, especially when the weather starts getting warmer. It's tempting to be out there in flip-flops or whatever, but we've got to have our boots on and we've got to have our hard hat on. Just a reminder, always wear your PPE. It seems like we get some calls when the weather gets warmer, we start to get a little lax on that. So don't take a break on your own safety. We want to keep you guys safe out there more than anything. Secondly, we're working hard to keep you guys profitable. Freight is really strong right now. We're bringing on a lot of new business, and we just want to make sure that we're putting as much in your take-home pay as we possibly can. So that brings another point up. We need growth on the flatbed side as well. If you can train, if you can run team, if you know someone out there that would be a good candidate for Prime, think about being a part of the referral program and get yourself involved in that. If you're not familiar with it, talk to your fleet manager. It's a great way to make some additional pay in your paycheck every week is that referral bonus. Bring in some new drivers and help us to grow. It's great for Prime that we increase our footprint here and out in the market. We want to bring on these new customers and give them as much support and capacity as we can, as well as continuing to support our great shipper partners that are out there. So appreciate you guys very much. Not sure if we have any questions yet, Steve, but that's all I've got for today.
I don't think we had any flatbed ones today, Brian.
No, that's nice and easy then.
There you go.
All right. Well, you guys, you know where to reach me if you need anything. Give us a shout. Again, reach out to your fleet manager for that referral program and get involved in that if you can. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Just a couple of things I want to mention before we bring up our last two speakers. Remember, we're going to try to switch this to 8 o'clock on Fridays. That's going to be our new time. And once we do get back to our regular meetings, we've been in discussion. Can we continue this? We've had questions. Can you continue this forum for those of us that can't get into the yard? And we'll certainly look at that. And this has been a learning experience. I really want to thank Andrea and Mitch. They put a lot of time and effort into learning how all these systems work, but it's pretty neat. We've come a long way in just several weeks to think we're here in Springfield. We've got Savannah Kleen. We're getting this information out to you in real time. So we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate the questions. I know we didn't get to them all. We'll go back and read through them. We'll be back again next Friday. We'll see. I think we may try to bring leasing back next Friday. They just had a ton of questions. Drew's got some information he wants to talk about, and that's the key. When we get the questions, we know we've done a good job there. So I just want to thank you. Please be safe out there. I'm going to ask Robert Lowe and Steve Wutke to come up and close us out today.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to say hello to everyone. Appreciate very much what you're doing out there, and we hope you're doing it safely. More of it. Thank you.
Dang, I'm looking at this screen. Did I really look that fat?
It's a COVID, in fact. That's
it is. I got to have something to blame.
Effect, man. We're both fighting.
Oh, man, that's terrible. I think I'll get halfway out of the picture here.
It won't change anything.
It won't.
Say, Robert, we should maybe reiterate, what we're experiencing with business in general and the demand that we have with our customer base, where we are as far as tender acceptance, and what the growth opportunities are.
Well, this industry right now, and it's not just Prime, it's the whole logistics complex is just flooded with freight. And, it's good when you're looking for a load, right? But when you're trying to service customers that perhaps can't find enough capacity to get their products delivered, it's a bad thing. So, one of the things that we emphasize is that, and part of our business model is steady year-round business, good fair charges. The higher the rate, the better, obviously. Good rules with our shippers, good contracts with them with respect to fuel surcharge, detention, and things like that. But we stick with them, and they have stuck with us.
Yeah, it's been a great model for many years.
It has. And let me just recall back to a year ago. When this terrible pandemic started, freight just dropped. I mean, it went down precipitously. We had these same customers we're hauling for now. Several of them stepped up and tendered us 300, 400, 500 additional loads in a week because the business wasn't there and we needed it. So we were able to keep our drivers busy relative to the marketplace. And, that's just part of the relationship. And that's why Prime has got these powerful relationships as we take care of our shippers.
Yeah, I think, truly the answer was during that time, there was an unknown. Protein plants were being shut down because of the COVID deal. But our customer base, they just kept digging within their network to give us loads to offset that loss. So here it is, our turn trying to step up. We've got a huge footprint in the refrigerated marketplace. Our flatbed is doing very well too, and we're seeing growth in both intermodal and tanker. So we've got a great footprint. We just really need to be able to handle more volume. We see our available percent going down a little bit on a weekly basis, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means you're getting more time off. What it does mean, we need to continue to grow our total fleet size so that we can still accommodate those commitments that we made. So that's kind of where we are. We need to continue this training program. You all that are taking time to train for us and with us, that's an awesome thing, giving back to the industry that you're all part of. So thanks for that.
Yeah, and obviously, thank you is very appropriate. You all have gone through this pandemic and done tremendous service to our customers, to our company, and to the entire country. And we certainly thank you for your sacrifices. It's been a heck of a year, Steve.
It really has. It's been tough on everyone. Particularly, I think our driver base has been signaled out for the efforts and dedication that they provided to the entire country, and cannot say enough good things about what you all have done. I see a question or two. One of them was, when are you going to start playing basketball again, Robert? I mean, got somebody that wants you one-on-one.
They probably noticed how much weight I've gained.
I don't think you're going to get around them on the baseline right now. I don't know.
No, I don't have much quickness left anyway, but hopefully we'll get out there very soon. On the pandemic, we can't quite let up yet, folks. There are some restrictions being lifted around the country, and we are going to be coming up with protocols that are appropriate to vaccination status. We'll be coming with that, and we're close. But again, your health and wellness and safety, those are the top priorities here at Prime. So we're going to be cautious. We're going to proceed. Just be patient a little while longer. We're almost. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Safety begins with you all. It ends with you all. Protect yourselves, both in the pandemic way and just in general, your driving safety, please. And we should shout out, as we always do, you veterans, man, thank you all for what you do. We're proud of you. We're glad you're driving for Prime. The veterans driving for anybody, we're proud of you all. Just be safe.
Yeah, we appreciate you very much. We can't thank you enough. We can help you in any way. Let us know.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, gentlemen.